We've got flying cars, questionable PR statements, and movies and TV cashing in on your nostalgia. Welcome to The Know-It-All, your weekly dose of all the developments in video games, movies, TV, tech, and science. I'm Ashley Jenkins.
And I'm Meg Turney. Here's how it works. We'll sum up all the week's news really quickly so you know what's going on, but if you want the details on a particular story, just click the picture and we'll take you to the full update. It's like choose your own adventure with news.
Love choose your own adventures. Let's get started. Turtle Rock Studios, the developers behind Evolve, the upcoming 4 vs. 1 asymmetrical competitive multiplayer game, will launch a closed alpha at the end of this month to test game balance, leveling, and so on. Those who've pre-ordered the game from participating retailers have guaranteed access to the alpha, but even if you haven't, you can sign up to be considered. We've got a code you can use when signing up for guaranteed access because we think you're super and you deserve it. We'll leave it either in the description here or in the full video. The alpha kicks off on October 30th for Xbox One and October 31st for PS4 and PC, and it'll run through that weekend.
Assassin's Creed developer Ubisoft had an eventful week following an interview in which one of the developers said the game would run at 900p and 30 frames per second on both PS4 and Xbox One to, quote, avoid all the debates and stuff. After his words did indeed cause debates that the Xbox One was the hang-up, Ubisoft's PR team clarified that the spec lock wasn't due to any one console and that the team had always intended to keep this game at 900p. Supporting that claim was one of the title's level designers who said that making the game 60 frames per second would make it weird like The Hobbit. Because if there's any surefire way to convince people that your decision was a good one, it's to diss a successful movie franchise in the process. Also, just for debates and stuff, Black Flag was released on both consoles at 900p and then later upscaled to 1080p for PS4 via a patch. This isn't the first time Assassin's Creed developers have said something outrageous in conjunction with a controversial design decision, so we decided to sit down with them and find out just what it is they're smoking. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Chris Damaris from The Know, and we're here with the VP of Press and Marketing at Ubisoft, Gerard Guillemot. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
I have no idea.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you about your announcement that you made earlier this week.
Yeah.
That Assassin's Creed Unity is going to be locked at 900p across all platforms. Is this because...
Right, and the reason we did that was to avoid debates and stuff. Yeah.
That's okay. That's kind of an odd reason.
Yeah, it's a little weird, right?
Yeah. Okay, so, and this is after your announcement earlier this year that the game will not include female characters because females are hard?
Females are hard, that right. That probably sounds weird too, I bet.
Yeah. It's very weird.
Yeah, it is.
You seem happy about this.
Yeah, well see, this is actually part of our overall strategy for global marketing here at Ubisoft. What we like to do is we like to take a really terrible design decision, and when we announce that, we immediately follow it with an even worse and weird justification. That way, people only talk about that reasoning, and they don't actually talk about the real problem, which is, of course, our terrible design decisions.
That's your strategy.
Oh, yeah, and it works really well. Like, let me give you an example. For instance, we invited the entire press here to Ubisoft today to announce the fact that we are going to be taking about 50% of our missions in the Assassin's Creed Unity campaign. We're taking those out of the retail version, and we're going to put them into a paid DLC, which is going to be available day one of release.
All your players are going to have to pay.
And the reason why we are doing that is because we don't believe that the Holocaust happened. You're not even thinking about the DLC thing that I said, are you?
No.
Yeah, right out of your mind, I bet. Yeah, see? Strategy works really well.
So no Holocaust,
Go ahead, do this. Ask me about any of the decisions we've made with our game in the last 2 or 3 years, and I'll tell you a reason for it.
Why are the titles of your franchises numbered so strangely?
Right, like Assassin's Creed 2 has 3 versions and then 3. Well, the reason we did that is because math is relative, and we don't think it should be taught in schools.
Okay. What about the lack of a day-night cycle in some of the earlier games?
Well, basically, the moon is the sun when it blinks. That's just basic astronomy.
The lack of pets in games past AC3.
Dogs should be food. Everybody agrees with that.
And the reason your French characters don't have French accents?
Immigrants stole their jobs.
All right. So, can I quote you on that?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go write this up. Good luck with the game.
All right. Well, good luck with your story. Can't wait to read it. Knock 'em dead, Tiger.
Well, you can't argue with that kind of logic. We already knew that Agent Locke would be an important new part of the Halo universe. After all, he's the star of Halo Nightfall, the live-action miniseries that will accompany Halo the Master Chief Collection. He gets further introduction in the collection, and he'll be a playable character in Halo 5 Guardians. But it could be even more than that. Actor Mike Coulter, who plays Agent Locke, has revealed that the majority of Halo 5 will be played in his shoes, with a plot centering around a manhunt for our favorite Spartan.
Super Smash Bros. For Wii U finally has a release date, and you can look to get your Smash on the big screen on November 21st. The 21st will also see the release of the first wave of Amiibo figures, which includes Mario, Pikachu, and Donkey Kong. The second wave of figures, which includes Zelda, Diddy Kong, and Captain Falcon, will hit shelves sometime in December. Those gamers who are most comfortable playing Smash on a GameCube controller will have the option to do so via a new adapter which will only work for Super Smash Bros. Not to be left out of the fun, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker was also given a release date. That's December 5th for the US, January 9th in Europe, and January 10th in Australia. Nintendo also announced that it will support Amiibo figures sometime in 2015, so perhaps we will see a Toad figure after all.
Call of Duty Advanced Warfare developer Sledgehammer Games is doing gamers a solid by offering a free cross-gen upgrade for their upcoming entry to the series until the end of next March. The offer will apply to digital versions of the games on Xbox 360 and PS3, which can be upgraded to Xbox One or PS4 respectively. A pretty sweet deal since a lot of gamers may be moving to new consoles over the holidays. Your other digital content and Season Pass can also make the switch, and there's no time limit on that, just the game.
Two teams that both include former BioShock developers came out with Kickstarters this week. One team is seeking $550,000 for their title, The Black Glove, which sticks very close to the bizarre allure of Rapture, while the other team, which also includes devs from Halo 2, Rock Band, and Guitar Hero, is asking for just $150,000 for their game, The Flame in the Flood, which is being described as a post-societal Oregon Trail. You can find links to both Kickstarters in their respective stories.
It was a bad week for racing fans. First of all, Ubisoft delayed The Crew again for like the third time now. Instead of coming out on November 11th, it'll now be out on December 2nd, and who knows, maybe it'll benefit from the missteps of Drive Club and Forza Horizon 2. Drive Club released earlier this week, but despite a beta test, the servers had difficulty coping with the player influx, so Evolution Studios decided not to release the PlayStation Plus edition on day one after all. Instead, they're gonna hold it back until the servers can cope, and it's still missing. And also, the servers aren't coping with their own player load either. But Xbox doesn't get away clean either. Forza Horizon 2 released last week, and while Turn 10 and Playground Games have now released 2 DLC car packs for Xbox One, and nothing came out for Xbox 360, and no dates were offered. Turns out it's because the developers have no intention of releasing any DLC on the Xbox 360 version of the game, as they clarified a week after the game had come out, leading to outrage from Xbox 360 gamers who didn't know they'd miss out when they bought it.
A 15-year-old boy in Belgium has just stolen the dubious record for worst self-control and free-to-play microtransactions after he used his mother's credit card to buy more than $46,000 worth of in-game currency in the free-to-play iOS game Game of War Fire Age. After his spending spree was discovered, he claimed he didn't realize he was spending real-world money, which nobody believes, but the Belgian Gambling Commission is in a tizzy that this could even happen at all and is calling for stricter rules in free-to-play games. And the kid is probably grounded for life until he makes enough money mowing lawns to pay that tidy sum back.
Maybe it snows a lot in Belgium and he'll be shoveling sidewalks instead.
Doing a lot of chores, for sure.
Big fan, big fan. For a full hour video game news discussion to see how we feel about all these developments, don't forget to check out The Patch, which airs live Wednesdays for sponsors and Thursdays for all Rooster Teeth fans. This week, Gus admitted he's a filthy cheater, which really shouldn't surprise anyone.
And to catch up on everything happening in the world of esports, make sure you watch the leaderboard. This week we talked about the League of Legends World Championship playoffs, which are down to the final 4.
So that's what's been happening in the world of video games this week. And now let's catch up on movies and TV. After 15 years of continuous publishing, Viz Media has announced that the Naruto manga, which is written and illustrated by Masashi Kishimoto, will finally come to an end. The series began as a pilot in 1997 before becoming serialized in 1999. The manga spawned an anime series, 10 movies so far, and dozens of video games. The anime and graphic novels will continue for now, at least until they catch up to the manga.
After months of speculation, it has finally officially been announced that a new Ghostbusters movie is happening. Writer Paul Feig tweeted the confirmation along with the news that this new installment would indeed star an all-female crew. In an interview with Entertainment Weekly, he went on to say that the new movie will take place in a universe where the first 2 movies never happened, and that if any of the original cast wants to return, they'll need to be given new characters, which has pretty much everyone asking, why not just make a movie about ghost fighting starring women that doesn't co-opt the Ghostbusters name?
I also like that Ernie Hudson, who plays Winston, basically came out and said he thinks it's a terrible idea and they'd better be funny, and if they can't be funny, they better be sexy.
It's just so many college girls are excited about this sexy Ghostbuster idea.
Well, Halloween is coming up. Good job, Winston. Robert Downey Jr. has been busy promoting his new movie, The Judge, but of course, all anyone really wants to talk to him about is the future of Iron Man, so he's been busy teasing that too. In interviews, he made several jokes about who'd be required to direct if he were to return, and in an appearance on the Ellen DeGeneres show, he also made a comment that seemed to confirm future Iron Man films, though he later clarified that yes didn't in fact mean yes, and he was actually joking. Still, he says Marvel has a plan and they'll announce it soon. Constant roller coaster with that guy.
After 25 years, TV hit Twin Peaks will make a return to Showtime. The two original show creators will write all 9 episodes and have stressed that it will not be a reboot, but a continuation of the storyline set forth in the original series. The episodes will air beginning in 2016, and while Showtime will air the original series leading up to the new season's release, you can catch up right now on Netflix.
X-Men Days of Future Past writer Simon Kinberg has confirmed that X-Men Apocalypse will be a conclusion for the first class set of movies, turning it into a trilogy not unlike the first, even though happily the first trilogy kind of didn't happen thanks to the events of Days of Future Past. But that doesn't mean we've seen the last of the younger generation of X-Men, and he thinks it's likely they'll make future appearances, but those will be outside this particular story arc. He also reveals Apocalypse will spend a lot more time focusing on Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique. Jennifer Lawrence is so hot right now. Jennifer Lawrence.
I love her. For a full hour of movie and TV discussion, don't forget our podcast Screenplay. Gus made his debut this week to complete his podcast trifecta, and as you might expect, he immediately started a bunch of arguments. Oh, classic Gus.
That about does it for movie and TV news for this week, so why don't we talk about science and technology? I bitch about hoverboards, or the lack thereof, a lot, and how there are no flying cars and how I can't time travel, but I can scratch one off the list because a Slovakian firm has developed an Aeromobile, a fully functional car that also happens to be a fully functional plane. They're preparing to show off their third prototype later this month, and in addition to having a 430-mile aerial range, it also fits in a normal parking spot and takes regular fuel. It may make driver's licenses and border patrol a real nightmare, but hey, who cares? It's a flying car.
One of the biggest disadvantages to space travel is that, frankly, space is huge and it takes ages to get from one place to another, which means the crew needs all sorts of food and exercise equipment. It's basically just a huge hassle. With an eye to the 6 to 8 month trip to Mars, NASA is working with SpaceWorks Enterprises to develop a form of stasis based on controlled hypothermia, in which lowering the body's core temperature induces a state of deep sleep. The future is now. This state can be reversed by returning the body to normal temperatures, and while it hasn't really been tested for periods longer than 7 days at a time, there haven't been any showstoppers technically or medically yet. I repeat, the future is now.
I never imagined cryostasis to basically just be like sticking you out inside in Russia.
But still, we have something we can call cryostasis.
That's true, and that's pretty great. That's all the news for this week. You're all caught up. We'll be back next week streaming live at 1 p.m. for Rooster Teeth sponsors and Friday evenings on roosterteeth.com. Thanks for joining us, and remember, when you need to know, you know where to go.
Sounds like a rehab center slogan.